Welcome to Chaos to Calm. You have adopted and the honeymoon is over. We are your hosts, Jody Randolph
and Cindy Schultz,
offering practical advice and natural solutions to adoptive moms while maintaining your sanity.
Yep.
And we are in the full swing of summer, and I know that there are families that are traveling.
Yes.
So we have travel tips for you today for traveling with kids with special needs and invisible disabilities. It all takes extra planning and preparation. You can't just jump in the car and go.
You're right.
So, I joke with my husband that we packed everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, you know what? And it's funny because we're planning these episodes. We write down these little notes and stuff. And I'm always, because I'm the hot mess here, I'm always coming up with something that we didn't even talk about. And you just said packing and everything. And that is key.
It's huge.
It's huge. Packing what you need. But also those days before you travel, who is that pressure on to pack?
It's on the mom.
It's on the mom. The majority of the time. I know that there's exceptions to the rule. But with having a family that especially is the size of mine, but also I have people in my family that need to learn independence and be self-sufficient and stuff. So one of the things I do when we're packing is I will write out a list of how many pairs of pants, how many shirts, how many, this, that, and this, unless we're doing something special where they need to be looking like they are coordinated, I let them do what they need to do, and I take care of myself. And then we also have a tote with a lid on it that is where they can pack the things they want in the car. And
good idea.
And that way they have a finite space, or you could do a backpack or something like that. But they have a finite space. Everything has to fit in there. I might leave them with an extra stuffed animal outside of it, or like an 18-inch doll, or something like that. One thing, but because our space is
limited for your family and traveling with the car.
Right.
Well, even with our family, there were 5 of us that would travel, and I didn't do the tote, but as you were talking, I thought, well, I always had them pack a backpack. Pack your backpack with stuff that you want to do, your tablet, coloring, drawing, whatever it is, reading a book, just pack that in that backpack so that you have it. And that's their container, basically, for their stuff. Making the list, we did that as well. However, I'd make a list for each child. But I only had 3 to deal with.
I have a dry erase board. I'd be like using the easle from the kids' art projects.
But having them check it off, because it's teaching them to be organized. It's teaching them to be prepared, all while you're planning for this trip. And making sure that they have all of those things that they need for their clothes and their bathroom items and all of that.
Right.
Swimsuits, flip-flops, whatever it is, to help them learn how to be prepared.
Exactly.
And I used to have the kids help me, because we deal with food allergies, help me make a list of what snacks they wanted me to get at the store. So that they were involved with that as well, and I wasn't having to rack my brain while I'm standing at the store. What do they want to eat for snacks that they can eat? Right.
And that's perfect. Involve your kids and give them limitations too. So if they want to bring art stuff in the car, we live in Arizona and it's summertime. Melt. Crayons don't work. Colored pencils work really well. And
don't forget the little sharpener.
And I discovered that if you can find the short colored pencils and you can find a kid's cup with a lid, they fit through the straw hole. So there's a container, you find a colored pencil, you just shove it through the straw hole. And that works.
Keeps them all
immensely.
Contained and easy to clean up.
Yes, and that's another thing, easy to clean up. Whenever we stop,
reorganize.
Yes, everybody has to pack up their stuff. You pack up, make sure there's nothing on the floor. And then if one person's using the restroom, everyone's using the restroom.
Right.
And that's just it. But that helps the van to have some sort of, things not rolling all the way up to the front of the...
Exactly.
vehicle. So,
and I think too, well, we're going to get into that. We're in the planning part.
uh-huh.
I was going to say, make sure you stop often enough, but we'll get into that one a little bit. As you're preparing, I was thinking what we do to prepare, because we have to pack all of our food, which is a royal pain.
Yeah.
So finding those places you were telling me about, Disneyland, is accommodating for food allergies.
Oh, they are.
Finding those places that will accommodate, that you feel like you can trust as a mom.
Right.
To not kill your child on vacation.
Exactly. Go and do your research. Pull up wherever you're going. If you're going to a theme park, if you're looking for restaurants in a city or whatever, campgrounds, whatever, do your research. And with Disney, they are really good with food allergies and with diet preferences too. So if you're keto, if you're whatever, they can help you. If you're plant-based, they really have it all fine-tuned on their websites. And then there's
That's really nice.
There's all sorts of blogs out there that will help you with that. One thing, when it comes to food and stuff, I follow Disney Food Blog, and they're really good with helping you decide, first of all, what's worth spending your money on, and what's not. So it's like, go off of, don't reinvent the wheel. If there's somebody out there online that has been there, done that, read their stuff. Don't always take every word that they're saying verbatim. You filter it through your family.
Right.
And your needs. But then you can walk in educated.
And make adjustments as you go.
Right. And then it's less stress, because if we are less stressed, then our family's less stressed.
Exactly.
They pick up on all that.
And everybody has more fun.
Exactly.
Because we can have more fun.
Yeah. And you can say things like, you can show them videos of theme parks or wherever, or food, even food. Right. Restaurants and stuff. Show them that, prepare them, so not everything has to be a total surprise for them.
Exactly. Well, and one of the things we're doing as far as the food allergies this year, we're actually going on a vacation, probably the first vacation that we've been on as a family. We've done traveling as a family for, situations like death in the family, or somebody had an accident, or, that kind of thing. But we have never actually just gone on a vacation to have fun. So we're planning that for August. Hopefully all goes well. But one of the things that we decided to do was to rent our friend's RV.
Oh, fun.
Because then I have control of the food.
Right.
And we have control of the food allergies.
Yeah.
We still need to buy our food along the way, but reading labels is a whole lot easier than going into a restaurant and somebody saying, oh, yes, we can accommodate you, and then still ending up with the side effects, or in the case of nut allergies, you could find yourself at a hospital.
Right.
Or no hospital available, and that's not a good spot to be in. So preparing yourself for those kinds of situations so that you don't end up in a bad situation.
RVs are great because you bring their consistent environment with them.
Right. Exactly. So. Not that I want to be cooking the whole time,
right.
But
I know, right?
At the same time, it's so much more worth it if my child's not dealing with a stomachache or we're not having an anaphylactic reaction. I'm willing to cook.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's huge. And it's not just...
And not only that, but you can find, if you don't have an RV, you can find hotel suites that have little tiny kitchens in them that you can do the cooking.
Right. Right.
And they're not that much more expensive than regular hotel rooms.
Exactly.
So we're all prepared. We've done our research. We've packed. So we've mentioned stopping frequently. If you're traveling in the car, it's so important to stop and get out and move and just change that scenery for 5-10 minutes, even half an hour if you have to, especially like getting all the kids through the bathroom.
Right.
It's going to take more than 5 minutes.
Right.
With my kids, our stops were half an hour. We had 3 kids. We had the dog. It's just what it is.
And that's okay.
But I think being flexible with that, having a flexible enough schedule, I remember one trip that we took, it was supposed to take 10 hours. So we were going to do it in a day. It took us 13.
13, yeah.
I'm like, how did that happen? But we were stopping almost every hour.
Yeah.
Because somebody had to use the bathroom, or that I needed to take the dog off my lap because that's where she was sitting.
Oh, right.
But I think it's super important to get out and walk around.
Yeah, and you stop before there's a meltdown.
Exactly.
You know, and the thought process, because I'm guilty of this, I can squeeze out another hour. I can squeeze it out. That doesn't work. A lot of times you're really running up against the clock there, and it's better to have have a ball in the car, get out, kick a ball around for a few minutes, throw a frisbee, go to the bathroom, whatever.
Because just like we as parents and getting older and whatever, our bones and muscles ache from sitting. So do our kids. You know, I have one daughter that says she prefers to travel in this vehicle and not this one because she's more comfortable in the bigger vehicle. And her legs don't hurt as much.
Right.
So I think it's remembering that even though they're smaller and flexible, their muscles still ache from sitting.
Yeah.
And just that movement is hugely helpful.
Yes, movement, and it's good.
Plus it distracts them.
Exactly.
What do we have to look at now?
Right.
Exploring that rest area or whatever it is.
Yeah, and see what the views are like. And that's the thing. Look out the window. We tell our kids all the time as we're moving in the car, look out the window. What are you seeing? You're not going to see this again, you know, in a while or
ever, depending on where you're traveling.
Yeah, and on road trips, another idea is to have a little treats for every hour or every so many miles, whether it's a snack or whether it's a little game you printed off the internet or whatever.
Something fun that's not their usual.
Exactly.
Even dollar store toys are easy to pull out because it's not something they normally get.
Yeah, pick up a couple new movies to...
Oh, yes. Those DVD players in the minivan, those are amazing.
Right. And then, you know, and it's okay to let them play on their tablets for a longer time.
It is.
It's your sanity, less distraction for the driver.
Well, and it's fun for them. It's what they remember. I mean, my girls are now, quote-unquote, adults, but they remember being able to just play on their tablet in the car and had so much fun.
Yeah. And it's okay. Every once in a while it's okay. So
I remember when we traveled when I was little, we would always get a container of Pringles. We never got Pringles any other time except when we were traveling.
See,
and so it's like those fun foods, those things that you don't normally get.
Right.
Is what creates those memories.
Yeah, because you're kind of spoiling everybody.
You are.
And for your sanity, you're spoiling them. but it's okay. It's okay. It's fun, and it's okay to do that.
Right. I think traveling with shorter days in mind, instead of trying to fit everything. Oh, it takes us 10 hours to get from our house to Grandma's house. Let's just do it in one day.
Right.
Break it up. You know, stay at a bed and breakfast or stay at a little RV park that's kid-friendly or whatever it is to make it fun.
Yeah. And
everybody arrives at Grandma's house and nobody's cranky.
Exactly. Exactly.
They're excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if another thing, sometimes those long hauls are necessary because you don't have the schedule. Do the long haul first, and on the way back, stop.
Yes.
And because people are already getting...
Because they're tired of vacation by that time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lots of things you can do to make the trip easier. Planning activities in the car, like the license plate game.
Yes.
Or
there's a lot of road trip scavenger hunts. I've got this one deck of cards that is a road trip scavenger hunt, and you can play it all sorts of different ways. You can deal out a hand to each person, and when they find it, they can, depending on their maturity, right, and how well they play games.
Right.
Or a lot of times I'll have like a little clip or something on my visor, and I'll clip 2 or 3 cards, and they're everybody's looking for it. And or whoever calls it out first, I pull that one off and pass it to that person. And so that
sounds like a fun game.
It's a fun game. Yeah. Playing playing music that you wouldn't normally play and having a sing-along.
Right. So you have traveled by airplane with your kids, right?
I have not. Not with my... So I've traveled with two, like, teenagers in an airplane. We will be probably within the next year or so traveling with at least my two that have Down syndrome. Possibly, I'm praying that maybe we can take a full-on family trip that would require a flight, which we think is totally hilarious. And I got to tell you, because my kids will laugh, I have this image, like, because I'm such a visual person, I have this image of getting everybody a carry-on, like a different colored carry-on of the same carry-on, and everybody just walking down and taking a picture in the airport.
I can picture that with you and your kids.
I was like, that'd be funny. But anyways.
But you have probably traveled by airplane more than I have. What kinds of ideas would you suggest that would help moms that needed to take their kids with special needs and invisible disabilities on the airplane for a 2 or 3 hour flight?
So first of all, I mean, make sure you get there in plenty of time. If you can avoid rushing, be ready when you're going through security to take your time to explain things, maybe even role play a pat down, because they do random pat downs in security. Also check and see the rules. Again, do your research, check and see the rules with TSA, see if there's anything you can do to maybe expedite getting through security, maybe not having that extra carry-on that would look so pretty in a picture, having the fewer things to carry so that there's less to go through. But also in airports, just like they now have places where you can take the dog in the airport for it to be comfortable. I was just at Phoenix Airport the other day, and they were announcing where the sensory lounge was. And so
I think that is wonderful. Yeah. Giving people that chance to, with those sensory issues, to be able to find the balance.
Exactly. Yeah. And then if you have a connection, make sure it's a lengthy connection. Make sure you can stop and have something to eat and get back on the plane. And if you need help with the flight attendants, tell them and explain your situation, and they'll be there for you. And they want the flight to be successful. They want you to have a great time, and they want the passengers around you to be successful. I've heard of families with like people who have newborn babies and stuff. I've never done this, and I think I don't know, you have to pre-plan this, but like they have baggies of treats for all the people on the plane, and so they just pass them out to everybody, but it's preempting, a possible negative
it's
interaction.
Spreading kindness before there's problems.
Exactly. And, thank you for being patient with us in advance.
Right.
So that's huge.
Yes,
so.
I think a big thing is just to be flexible, but to do that research ahead of time and find those ways to make it an easier trip.
Right. One thing
preparation ahead of time.
One thing we just figured out with Kevin and his diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's is we can pre-board. He needs to be able to sit with me. And a lot of times when I'm booking a flight and there's not two seats together, I call the airline and I say, listen, this is our situation. And they are more than willing to help us out.
Right.
So
that's good.
It's really good. Communicating and research, I think, is huge. Don't just assume people know what's going on with your family. Don't assume that those around you don't think that they should be okay if your child's stimming or if there's something different going on. Be prepared to gently educate people and to be gracious to them and to show them some kindness. Yeah.
Yes, because we, as believers in Christ, need to be showing his love to others, even in the midst of those uncomfortable and difficult situations that other people aren't understanding, we need to show kindness and not always be expecting other people to show kindness to us.
Exactly, because they don't live
because
with it.
Because we are the light of the world.
Exactly. And they don't live with what we live with.
Right.
And so we cannot expect others to be able to handle the things the same way God has equipped us to.
Right, exactly.
But at the same time, we need to understand that, guess what? God has put us in their life today. And where we're not there to wreak havoc, there is something for them in sitting next to us and in having the opportunity to communicate with our child who might have Down syndrome or might have, being able to give the world that opportunity to have a positive interaction with someone who's different than they are.
And that's what we want to do with the world.
Yeah.
Is to have that positive.
Right.
No matter the situation.
Right.
So traveling's a good experience to do that as we see the world.
Good. It is really good. I love airports. It is. I don't know if I'm weird. I love airports. I love being on airplanes. I think they're fun, and I don't really mind sitting, all squished or whatever. It's okay. Yeah. It's good. It's a nice way to go where you don't have to be worried about people that are driving around you.
So I have an essential oil survival kit for you to survive the vacations and survive the traveling experience. So there's lots of different things that happen when you're traveling. You can be too hot. You can get a headache from stress. You can have upset tummies, all of that. So peppermint is good for that.
Yes.
Peppermint
Somebody could stink in the car.
Or even just the focus of focusing. You put your peppermint on a little cotton ball and stick it in front of the air conditioner.
Or they have car diffusers now.
They do have car diffusers that you can get. Traveling in airplanes would be a little bit more challenging. Yes. But that could be where you put it on a cotton ball and stick it in your sleeve or something. Lavender is another good one for everything calming. Calming your kids, calming the bug bites, calming anything that's calming.
Right.
I do exercise caution with lavender in the respect that my kiddos with invisible disabilities, lavender tended to have the opposite effect on them. So using lavender to support sleep was not one that I used with them. So just keep that in mind. However, I did use it for bug bites and did use it for, things like that. Terra Shield is another one when there's too many bugs out, to be able to put that on instead of regular, what's it called?
Bug spray.
Bug spray.
Yeah.
Like, is there a special name for that? I don't remember. I haven't used it in so long. What is it called? But using that Terra Shield instead of bug spray because they're getting those health benefits from the essential oils, and it wards off the bugs without all the toxins.
And it provides a boundary too for emotions and stuff like that. So that's huge.
Digestion. There's going to be eating too much junk food, and you need to support healthy digestion with your kiddos and with yourself. Breathe to support respiratory issues and the respiratory system. And On Guard. Absolutely take your On Guard to help with too many people, too many germs, because you don't want to get sick on your vacation.
That's no fun. No fun.
So I will post that essential oil graphic in the show notes and add that in there if I can. So, and it definitely will be in the show notes on my website.
The verse of the day is Matthew 12:7. So this is Jesus talking, and he says, "And if you had known what this means, I desire mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless." What I get from that verse is that, God desires us to show grace and mercy to those around us, even in the car after 5 hours of driving, or even
or 10 or 13,
or even when your flight's been canceled or whatever. It is our job to show grace and mercy to each other, and not to display our sacrifice. Is that a graceful way? Don't pull a pity party. Don't whine about how you're the one that has to do all the work and stuff, even though it is so tempting And Jody and I so get you there. You know, so and then also at the second part of that is you would not have condemned the guiltless. And when it comes right down to it, our kids are not guilty. They are dealing with something that we don't have to deal with internally, right?
Well,
We deal
and
with
they're
it
still
externally.
learning.
Exactly.
It's a learning process for them, and they're going to make mistakes.
Yes.
Because we learn best from the mistakes that we've made.
Exactly. So when we're traveling, show grace and mercy and provide those learning opportunities.
Right.
We don't have to be condemning to anyone.
Right. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for all that you do for us, for the blessings that you give us, the opportunities that we have to spend with our family, and to see your world and to learn about the world that you created and the different cultures and the different environments in nature and all of the so many things that we can learn while we're traveling. Thank you that we get the opportunity to nurture and love our kids through the traveling experience and to open new doors for them and the blessings that come with all of that. I pray for the families that are traveling this summer that you will keep them safe, that you will give them wisdom and help them to show grace and mercy to their children, and that their traveling experiences would be a complete and total blessing from you, and that they would see your hand in everything. Thank you again for your love for us. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
And as always, you can find me at jodyrandolph.com supporting adoptive moms, and I will have in my freebies, free resources, I will have a travel handout for you that you can download and with different ideas of different oils and things to take traveling. And you can find Cindy at
nevereasyalwaysgood.com. We talk about real life and real faith.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.